today's video, I'm going to teach you how I draw my outline designs and digitize them using the Design Doodler for some awesome embroidery results. Let's get started. Today we're going to be checking out some of my favorite apps, both for designing and digitizing. But before we do that, I'm going to show you how I find photos and where I get my inspiration from. Unsplash is one of my favorite apps, also on the website where I get a lot of my inspiration from. This app allows me to download photos for free that photographers have taken, like for example this flower, which is the one that we're going to create today. You can browse through so many different ones, and most of these are free for you to use, so it's awesome to get creative. Thank you so much, Anna, for taking this beautiful photo. Now, to create my favorite outline designs, I like to use an application that's available on the iPad, and that is called Procreate. It's basically like Photoshop if you have a computer, but its UI is very minimal, and it's really easy and fun to use. So, if you have an iPad, you can totally use Procreate for this. If you guys have never used Procreate, then I highly suggest you check out a tutorial because this has a lot of tools available to it, just like the Design Doodler, so you'll get the most benefit out of it. But again, really easy to use, really fun. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna click the settings wheel, and this is where I can click add, and I'm going to insert a photo. Here is the one that I'm going to be turning into an outline today, so I'm just importing it overall, and with my fingers I can zoom in and zoom out like that. That already looks pretty awesome. I do like how simple it is. Looks very nice. I'm just gonna leave it like that. And what we're gonna do is we have layers. So if you click on this layers button, you can add a new one. And under the end, I'm going to lower it to around 67%. Now, on my brush library, if you click on here, you can click your brush library. Here's a bunch of them, but I only like to utilize two. The 6B pencil, that's under sketching, and under inking, I like to utilize the studio pen. And on the left, you have your opacity here at the bottom, and here is your brush size. So I'm gonna leave it somewhere around 31. And if you see that I'm now working on the layer, so layer with my studio pen, I can start outlining, and it looks something like that. Which to me, it's a great width. It's awesome because this is kind of how I imagine the stitches to go on digitizing. So studio pen, and if you click again, you can open up your settings. I'll let you guys copy my settings if you guys are planning to do this. So streamline, the stabilization, the pressure, all of that, the taper. That's all. I haven't really messed around with any of that, but these are pretty much the settings that I use. And what it allows me to do is that even if my hand is a little bit shaky, you see that the app kind of smooths out the whole shape. So that's pretty awesome. That's exactly what I want. Using my two fingers, I can zoom in or zoom out, and we're gonna get started. Because this is not digitizing, we can pretty much start anywhere we want. So I think I'm gonna start with this flower down here. But as you guys know, if you are to be digitizing, then you wanna follow the right path. You don't just wanna start drawing anywhere. Maybe I'll add a couple of these, something like that. This is gonna be more of like a minimal type of flower. Maybe I won't even add that one over there. We'll just stop right there. Awesome. And this is my favorite way to create these cute little outline designs. You'll see that sometimes because I'm not wearing the glove, it'll showcase. Maybe I'll put it on after. It ends up kind of touching the screen, but that's okay, it's no problem. So again, I'm just gonna go around to create these awesome little flower paths. Because I'm digitizing this, I don't want to create it too intricate, especially if this design is going to be smaller. I don't want to be adding all those crazy details because then, as you guys know, with digitizing, you can't necessarily be adding super intricate stuff. So to me, the simpler the better. If you click on the layers, you can actually disable that one so you can see what that looks like. I think that looks pretty awesome so far. Make sure that I'm clicking on the right layer, and I'm gonna go back here. Now, one of the things that I think I wanna do is instead of this just being one color, what I'm gonna do is add another layer. So this is gonna be the color black. This one, I'm gonna turn it into red, like this. I mean, it could be pink too, but I think red looks pretty nice. So because I'm working under a different layer, it is not gonna get in the way of the other one. So, like that, just close that area right there. Let me make it a little bit prettier. If I tap with 2 fingers, I undo. If I tap with 3 fingers, I redo. This is why I suggest that you guys go check out a tutorial, because instead of you guys having to press these buttons over here manually, you can simply use the shortcuts and save a lot of time when creating your designs. And by the way, we're not sponsored by Procreate at all. It is just one of my favorite apps to use, especially when it comes to digitizing on the iPad with the Design Doodler. If you didn't know know, we have a new Design Doodler trial available now on the iPad and PC, so you guys make sure to click the link in bio for you to check it out. I don't want to add, like I said, too many details. Something like that, and one more, and one more. Okay, maybe we'll end up doing these little leaves green, but for now, let's see what that looks like. Aw, that's really, really cute. Okay, to select two different layers, you want to highlight this, and then you kind of want to grab this one and swipe it to the right. That is how it'll allow you to select multiple layers, and now I can move it around something like that. That's pretty nice. Maybe we'll end up adding text. I don't know, we'll see. But for now, this is the final design, and you can see how fast I was able to do that. I didn't necessarily follow everything specifically the way that it looks on the photo. Again, just to simplify things a little bit for digitizing. Remember that embroidery at the end of the day is not a photo, so you have to account for those changes, especially when you're getting into the small details. Now, all you have to do is click the gear tool. You're gonna click share, and under share, you're gonna press JPEG. Now you get a couple options, and I'm simply going to click save image so that it exports onto the iPad. We're pretty much done with this, so I'm gonna exit out of the app, and now we can go onto the Design Doodler. Again, guys, make sure to click the link in the description to download the trial. Here we have our tools on the left, at the bottom, and on the right. If this is your first time learning about the Design Doodler, then make sure to click this video above so that you can learn from John Deere all of the tools, knickknacks, and everything. I'm gonna click at the bottom here to import an image, and I'm gonna click Photo Library. You'll see that's the photo that we had before, and here's a new one. So I'm gonna click actual size, that's fine, and click done. You see that the image was imported, and if you click on this button right here, this is where I can resize the photo. So it's a little too big right now. I don't want it to be so big. And normally I have my hoop size set to 4x4. So if you click right here, you can enable and disable the hoop size. I'm just going to resize it down a little bit so it fits under that 4x4 hoop. If you guys want to change your hoop, then simply click on these three buttons down here, and you're gonna click under settings, hoops, and here you can select a bunch of different hoops. You can see that the one I have selected is the 100 millimeters by 100 millimeters or 4x4 inches. There's so many, so just pick the one that works for you. And then one more thing, to make sure that I get the image sizing right, I'm going to click on this properties, which is this one right here on the right, and I'm going to bring the opacity down maybe around here. And then I'm going to click the zoom tool just to zoom in a little bit, which is down here. Again, select the photo, resize it just a tiny bit, something like that. Now, if I select the move tool, or I select the hand tool, you can see that I can no longer move the image, which is perfect because I don't want to be moving the image as I'm digitizing. Now, here's our tools. We have a bunch of them, but I think for this one, we're gonna be utilizing two tools. The first one that we're gonna be using is gonna be the run stitch, just so that we can map stuff out. And the second one is going to be the satin or steel tool. It looks something like this. We can definitely have this design done in red work, but I think I want to add some satin because I just love the way that looks. It looks so smooth and pretty and everything. And here I'm just going to change the width. I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller, something like that. Let's see what properties this has right now. So, setting, this is a stitch width of 1 millimeter, so that's perfect. 1 millimeter is great for this design, so I'm gonna stick to 1 millimeter. 0.40 is good too, and freehand for the satin. Now, if you guys didn't know already, one of the most important things when it comes to digitizing is ensuring that you have the pathing done correctly. Now, what does pathing mean? It means you want the start and the stop of the digitizing file to be done as correctly as possible. You don't want your design to be jumping all over the place, so start here and end here and then here, because you can see that the app is gonna start jumping all over the place, and that is gonna cause your machine to have to cut and trim and just, waste so much time in thread. So with this design, we're gonna be making sure that we path it all correctly. Now, one of the last things is zooming. Normally, I've been using 1:1, 1:3, and 1:6 ratio, and that is just so it's quicker to zoom in and out for your design. And also, once you start using these same sizes constantly, you know what it will look like on this program and on your embroidery. So I'll be switching between 1:1, 1:3, and 1:6. Let's move the hand around, and I can get started with this part right here. I'm just gonna do my best to go around the outline. Perfect. Same thing here. If I click in the center, of the other one, because I have a tool that's enabled, the same single stitch is going to continue instead of creating a new shape. And I'm gonna show you how to enable that right now. So you saw right there how there was a red dot. That is because this is enabled. If that is disabled, then the next one will continue without enabling that. But I don't want that. I want the same stitch to continue. So to ensure that that happens, I want to enable this, and it'll continue creating the same shape even though I've let go of the past shape, which is awesome. So again, here I'm going to switch to 1 to 6. I'm going to move this around down here, and you can see there's a little bit of an odd shape. That's no problem. I can just move this around and have it fixed up right away. Perfect. Awesome. Now again, because we're trying to ensure that everything is pathed correctly, that means that I can't just go down here, because then I'm gonna lock myself out. So I'm gonna switch between the satin stitch to the single run stitch just to bring my shape down here, like so. And then I'm gonna go back to my satin or steel stitch and then bring it all the way up as much as I can. That's cool. Keep going up. You guys see the red right there? Awesome. So now what I'm gonna do for this part is I do wanna continue on this area, but I don't wanna just be jumping all over the place. So what I'm gonna do is go around this area with my single stitch all the way to the end. That red is going to hide that area, so it doesn't even matter. And then I'm gonna go back with my steel stitch and go over this area. Just go over it properly as much as I can, as accurate as I can be. Awesome. Now, it wasn't perfect, but that's completely okay. So what we're gonna do is just zoom in, and then I'm gonna fix some of these parts. The reason why the single stitch is doing something weird like that is because if you go under properties for the single stitch, I'm just gonna open the sequence view so that you guys can see specifically what I'm talking about. So if I click on the single stitch, you can see that it has a stitch length of 3 millimeters, which is quite a big amount of spacing. So I'm just gonna bring this down to maybe 1.2, and that is going to make it look a lot smoother, especially if I click on here. Then I can just kind of move these around so it's more around the center as opposed to being on the edge. Something like that. Move this around a little bit so that it's in the center of this. Now, the beauty about the Design Doodler, especially for beginners, is that you don't necessarily need to be doing this type of pathing where I'm switching between single stitch and satin stitch. You can actually just simply auto branch the whole design, which is no problem at all. I just prefer to show you guys the normal method that digitizing is usually done in. Let's continue. I'm going to, again, use a single stitch to go around this area, and I'm gonna go down here. Let's actually keep moving all the way down to finish this part all the way down there. Perfect. And again, we're gonna switch back to satin and bring it all the way back up. Awesome. I'm just gonna fix a little bit of this one because it did fall on the side. No problem at all. Move back this way. Awesome. And last thing, I'm just going to click this tool again, the single stitch, and then switch back to the satin stitch. Go all the way around. Awesome. And perfect. Now it's done. Click 3D to turn it on. Let's click 1:1 to see what that looks like. That looks awesome. And if we click on the view slow redraw, let's see what that looks like. It's gonna create that, go around, single stitch, awesome. You see that pathing, perfect. Going around, awesome. See, it is not jumping at all. It is simply creating the whole shape all in one go, start to stop. Perfect, love it. Take off 3D because it is easier to navigate the app when the 3D is not enabled. And now we're gonna take care of the red. Change the color, now we're gonna choose red or number 3. And we're gonna do the same thing. Where am I gonna start from? I think I'll start probably creating the shape right here. Let's go all the way around. This is all about experimenting, guys. So if you find that you get yourself stuck, no worries, just undo and try again. Let's try and finish this area right here. So I'm going to switch to the single stitch just so I can finish these areas right here, and maybe go, See, I find myself that I'm a little stuck here. I don't really like the way that's going, so I'm just gonna finish this area, and I'm gonna even go all the way down here, like so. I love experimenting with digitizing. It is so much fun. Bring it all the way down there. Oh, I guess it switched to the other color. That's pretty fun. Never seen that before. I gotta become a little bit better, more accurate with my shapes. It's all good. There, boom, that looks perfect. And again, I'm gonna switch back, go all the way here, finish that part right there. So, like that, cool. And if you saw that I didn't necessarily finish there, that's no problem, because what I can do is if I click this button right here, I can click on this one and make sure that I have my start and stop, view entry and exit. So it's going to exit. I'm just going to change the exit there so that I can continue working to the end. Perfect. Now I want to take care of this little area right here. And in my mind, the reason why I'm skipping this whole huge block right here is because I'm thinking of this photo in an almost 3D-ish way. And this to me is like the petal that is on top. So I don't want to be digitizing all of these shapes on top of that. Again, if you're a beginner in digitizing, then honestly don't worry about this. I would suggest you guys concentrate more on simply creating the shapes all together and then creating automatic branching until you're comfortable switching between tools. Again, I'm just going to finish this area right here. I can go with a single stitch, go all the way down to this area, and then I'm going to finish this whole section right here. Perfect. Now, like I said, I want this whole shape to be the one at the end. So I'm even gonna skip this whole part and maybe even go all the way down here. Again, switch back to this tool. Cool. And then what I'll do is just finalize this one right here so that I can start and stop it right there. We're gonna do one full shape right now. So go like this. Go around. We don't even have to stop anymore. Perfect. And let's do the last one, which is the shape that we wanted it to go on top. Perfect. Now I'm just gonna fix a couple of these things. No problem at all. Fix a couple of these, make them smoother. If you see guys any little mistakes, go back and then just fix them up a little bit. Try and make them as pretty as you can. Okay, let's go 1 to 1. And ta-da! That's what the design looks like. Again, let's play start and stop so you guys can see what that looks like. Let me disable the image. Does the shape all in one go. You guys can see it is not jumping, it isn't skipping, it isn't trimming or anything like that. It simply does one. And that's what I love about this tool, about this application, is that it gives you the option to do just automatic branching or to do the old school style of digitizing. Because the satin stitches are simply 1mm width, there really is no need to be adding edge run and zigzag underlays, but we're gonna add one center underlay. So to do so, we're gonna go under the sequence view by clicking the sequence view here. We're gonna highlight both of them, and under the properties, we're gonna go down to underlays. You can see the parallel underlay has been enabled. Now, one last thing before we embroider this design is to ensure that the machine sees this design as the center, auto start and stop. So to enable that, we're going to click on settings, and it says here center design start stop. And now this design will be automatically centered. And this is how to digitize a simple outline design. Now let's take it to the embroidery machine and see the final results. And there you go, guys. This is what the final design looks like. It is freaking cute. Cool little flower to give to your girlfriend, your loved one, anyone you want. Maybe even embroider on a hoodie for that special one. What do you guys think? And here's what it looks like to the side of the Design Doodler. I'm just gonna zoom in a little bit. Check it out. Here's the flower, and here's the final design. Guys, we're working on creating a bunch of new tutorials for the Design Doodler, so please let us know down in the comments what you guys want to learn next, as well as go check out the trial for the Design Doodler and the link in the description. Legacy family, I hope you enjoyed learning how to create this design, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys. Who wants to get a rose?